We are live. Hey everybody, it's Dan Latto speaking. Hope you're well today. We are on day 4 of lockdown. Well. And I don't know if you can quite hear the rain, so let me lift this up for you so you can actually see it. Oh, hello. Look at that. That's dreadful. That's the rain rain. Look at that. That's just wonderful. People think it doesn't rain. There's our tarpaulin over our garden furniture. Now that's the pool. It was green, but now it's going blue. It's like a dark green, and now it's blue, and that's because I did that, and I'm quite proud of that. Hey everybody, hope you're well this morning. There we go. Let me just sort that out. There we go. Hey, hope you're well. So on day 4 lockdown. It is boring as hell. I'm kind of struggling a little bit, and I knew this would happen. And I'm struggling a little bit because for me, it's like being a caged animal. Do you know what I mean? I'm like a tiger who's then put in a zoo and just walks around with the dead eyes. Do you know what I mean? So I'm kind of struggling a little bit here, but we'll see how it goes. So day 4, I've got a list of things that I'll go through for you, and we're sharing this information just because I've had a couple of messages come through, which is nice, by the way. And if this is useful for you, then please let me know. But the comments are, it's good information. It's interesting to see what's going on because also the UK is in a bit of a bubble. I've blocked Boris Johnson on Twitter, so I don't know how much is actually out there. But I'm kind of guessing there's a lack of leadership right now. That's the impression that I'm getting, and I would probably agree with that. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on out there. But I know here there's nobody around. There's nobody around. So let's just talk about lockdown mindset. This is really important. So for me, I'm the kind of guy I can if I've got a project, I can sit on it, I can do it for 16 hours, sleep for 5, get up, work another 16 hours. I can do that. That's not a problem. But when that's through choice. When it's enforced, it's a completely different thing altogether. And when I'm on my own, working on my own at home, it's really easy because I'm in much more control of that. We've now got the wife and the little one here, and I love having them around, obviously. But getting work done is much harder. And we're now on day 4 of complete isolation. So the only people I've seen really, but I've actually spoken to face-to-face is my wife and daughter. And obviously we like having them around. But normally in life, we have other people that we speak to and that we meet and we have a coffee, we play basketball, and we go to the shops and we get petrol in. All that's gone. And so your frame of reference for what's going on in the world is what you see on Twitter, what you see in the news, and inevitably that is through a person's eye. You know, it's like going to a party and standing in the corner and watching two people having an argument, and you say to your friend, I went to that party and it was dreadful, everyone was arguing, and the guy on the other side, everyone's like dancing and having a good time, and he's like, what are you talking about? It was a great party, it's the best party ever, everyone was dancing. And so excuse me, you get two different perspectives. I know it's a cough there, by the way. People going, ooh, big cough. It's just a cough. It's not got a dry throat. It's nothing. So it's like having, you've got to get your perspective from different places. It's really easy to get into panic mode if you're just looking at Twitter because everything's panicked right now. And I don't actually think that's really what's going on, especially in England. I know people are still having meetings and things, and I think that's crazy. But your lockdown mindset, you've got to work out. You are literally going into some form of attrition because you're contracting back into your own home, if you like, and you've got to manage that with a mindset point of view. I'm going to talk about that sometime through this video. Isolation. Let's talk about isolation. Isolation is weird. It is like it's just weird. I can't seem to get my mind through it. It's like you're not allowed past the front gate, and it's weird. And last night at 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock it was, people on the balconies and whistling, and we missed it. For whatever reason, we just missed it. It was like 8:05 and we realised. And it was absolutely pouring it down anyway, so I don't think many people went out. And you kind of miss that. You miss knowing that there's clumps of other humans around. It's really interesting, the whole isolation thing. You could be seeing a meltdown live over the next, what we're on, day 4, this is 15 days, so we've got another 11 days to go, but it might extend. You might get a completely live meltdown. If in 14 days I look like Tom Hanks from, what's that film, Castaway, where I'm all, and I'm skinny. It'd be nice actually, but I'm all looking rough. Then that could be quite interesting moments to remember, part of your life that you look back on. Okay, next one. I just want to talk about. I've written down moments of dread and panic for tenants, businesses, and workers. Let's talk about that because interestingly, when I'm writing and I'm looking at the words that I've used, there's a gradual decline on the quality of words. And what I mean by that is the type of words that I'm using are much more negative based. Moments of dread and panic. So this morning I woke up, there's news that maybe the Chancellor's going to go on TV with the Prime Minister. There's going to be a moratorium, I think it's called, on rental payments. Well, we make a lot of money on our rental payments. We've always been unbalanced on that, and we're putting stuff in place for that. And the stuff in place is also going to degrade too because no one's buying right now. This is not just my problem. Everyone's going to have this problem too. But if there's a moratorium for tenants paying rent, I'm like, how do we pay mortgages? And I'd like to let mortgages, will there be a moratorium on them, or is it just the residential homeowners? All these questions nobody knows, but that's the rumour that the Chancellor's going to do that. Now, I don't know where the rumour comes from. It's just someone in a little cave somewhere making shit up. Who the hell knows? But it is a risk, and I'm seeing on Facebook people asking for help because they don't know what's going to happen with their business, and I totally get that. And everybody's the same, by the way. So you've got people who work in shops; they're going to have to go home. Like here right now, all the shops are closed. The only shops that are open are Carrefour, Consum, Mercadona, food stores that sell food. That's it. Vets, chemists. That's it. Everything else is shut. I think some technology shops are open. So like the PC World equivalent, that's probably open. Everything else is shut. Everyone else is at home. The internet runs slow a little bit. And, I see some images going out about the heroes, which are the medical staff, and they are. But also the other heroes in this are the people who are keeping the electricity going. Because a friend of ours, her husband works at the plant with Homer Simpson, and they're the people keeping the thing going. He then goes home, and if he's infected, infects his family. And it's like, we don't get this, These are the heroes too. Not just frontline medical staff, but people keeping the water going, the people keeping the electricity going, and people clearing the sewage out. We had bin men yesterday, not wearing masks, a group of bin men clearing all the bins. These are the heroes too, and I don't think people kind of understand that. Right here, right now in Spain, they're the heroes. In the UK, in 10 days, they will be the heroes, because I think lockdown's going to come to the UK. Don't mean to be alarmist, but that's just what I think. Caged animal, I've talked about that. I feel like the tiger. Who's then picked up from the jungle. Tigers don't live in jungles. Picked up from Africa, put in a cage in Chester Zoo, and the deadness behind the eyes. And I'm definitely feeling some of that. I have been dancing around the kitchen. You'll be pleased to know we've got Alexa, volume 10. The wife's closing all the doors. And we had a really good. I had a really good dance to. Stairway to Heaven, air guitar galore. It was awesome having your own little party there. But I definitely feel caged, and for someone like me, that is not my mindset. If I was in a prisoner of war camp, I would struggle because that is just not my mindset. I can't do it. Let's talk about rain. It's raining. Like my wife said this morning, imagine if we were in England, it would be like this every day. So let's just show you again. It's not the start of the video, but I know there's people watching right now. That's how bad it actually is. They're all our seat cushions so they don't get wet. That's our pool, which is now blue instead of green. So that's working. Dean, I've got your question. I'll answer that in a second. So that's the rain. Absolutely pouring it down. It's not good. So let me just pull you back. Hello. Okay, Dean's got a question. So you can see my bald patch. That's not bald. That's just grey, I think. Anyway. Could you tell me, please, what is happening to the homeless, the people living on the streets with no home to self-isolate? Do you know what? I have no idea. That's a massively fabulous question, Dean. Zero idea. Not a clue. We're not allowed out. So where we live, there's not many homeless. The homeless, when they are here, sit outside the supermarket, Consum, wait for the pound that goes in your trolley kind of thing. We can't get to the supermarket. Like, we can, but you're going to get stopped by the police. And if you've not got your plastic bags with you to show that you're going to the shop, you're going to get fined. Like, if that's how serious it is here. We've seen people being pulled over. A guy on a bike, he was pulled over. And the fines range from €60 up to €60,000. There was a guy and he had a lock-in at his bar, and the police turned up, and I reckon he's done. He'll have gone bust because the fine for him will be like 10 grand, something like that. So honestly, I don't know. It's a massively great question, by the way. Please ask more because I enjoy the interactions. I know you can't come on. We might do some where we get people coming on actually, which could be quite interesting. So homeless people, I just have no idea. I mean, it's pouring it down with rain right now anyway. I'm guessing they have some kind of shelter. And I'm guessing if you're homeless, you know where to go to those shelters, but maybe not. The homeless situation here is different than it is in the UK. So we definitely don't see as much homelessness. And when we do see homelessness, it's more, I don't want to sound racist here, but I'll say it anyway. There are a lot of Romanians that come here for work. And if they don't get work, they've got nowhere to stay. And so I would say a good proportion of homelessness is actually Romanians. I don't know if that sounds racist or not, because I've just identified a race. But anyway, I don't know. Correct me if it is. And I apologise if it is. But what tends to happen is here, people have extended family. You have kids staying until 35, and then you have 3 or 4 generations in one household. And it's a big house. And also the houses don't get sold. So when grandparents die, the house gets passed down to the mum and dad or their kids. And that's how it works here. So it's slightly different. Also, HMOs, houses of multiple occupation, they generally don't work here because the guy's like, well, I'll stay at home with my mama. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's a mummy's boy and a daddy's boy here. Mummy's girl and daddy's girl here. You have 15-year-old kids running out and giving dad a big kiss. That never happens in England. Culturally, it's just different. So I don't know what's going on with homeless, but thanks for that question. It worries me. Homelessness, by the way, has always worried me in the UK. We used to do the Lufia project, which is the name of my daughter. And the Lufia project was where we raise money and we'd spend that money on a backpack, £5 for the backpack, and then £15 at the pound shop, toothpaste, hats, gloves, scarves, although not scarves because of strangulation, hats, gloves, polo mints, toothbrush, wet wipes to clean. So we used to hand them out in Leeds City Centre with my other 2 children, but unfortunately I rarely see these days. Not for lack of trying, I can tell you. Thank you, UK government, for being sexist. Anyway, let's move on. Little wins. So this was one that my wife brought up. We had pancakes this morning. Pancakes was like, oh, delicious. I tend not to eat breakfast because I fast until evening. I'm on a weight loss. It's not entirely effective because when I do eat, I eat so much junk it's off the scale. But this morning I had pancakes with so much chocolate on. Well, we've got this little pancake machine that makes little animals for the little one, and we've put so much chocolate on. Little wins. What else are in terms of little wins? We're speaking to people. We close some business online. We get the cheers and the clapping and the whistles at 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock on an evening. They're little wins. I'm keeping in touch with various people who I know are at home on their own and they're going to struggle. You know, like at least I've got wife and little one to talk bollocks to. People at home right now are literally isolated with no human contact. There's a woman just a bit further down, maybe almost 60, I would say, and she's on her own. She speaks a little bit of English, we speak a little bit of Spanish, and you kind of want to yell down, are you okay? We might do that tonight and just ask her, make sure, because human contact, like I know you've got this, but this is not human contact. Face-to-face, physical, face-to-face, that's human contact. This is completely different, and FaceTiming people just completely different than, you know, from being there in real life. Let's just have a look. Okay, so I just got a message from a friend of mine who was going to go to Egypt, and he was supposed to go Wednesday, tomorrow. Luckily, Egypt got cancelled, full refund. Interesting. So he's going to have a go at self-isolation as think of being exposed. Shouldn't be exposing yourself anyway, Dave. Get arrested for that. But he thinks he's been exposed to coronavirus. Sorry, my mistake. So my sense of humour, by the way, is getting darker and darker as time goes on, and I'm a little bit more aggressive on social media, by the way. I think we've told a couple of people to fuck off in the last couple of days. And one person got called I can't say it because the social media won't like it, but I got a really good insult in on somebody. That's a downward spiral, by the way. Let's talk about routines. So my wife is implementing routines. She's teaching the little one to rollerblade up and down. That's very good. She's painting and doing crafts with the little one. That's very good. We have agreed to do some gym downstairs. I'm going to take the little one downstairs. We'll work out together. So like right now, I haven't got a routine, and it's affecting my mental welfare, I would suggest. So we're going to start implementing that. We're on day 4. We need to get some routines in there. And if you're not doing that right now, you should be, everyone needs a routine. Millionaires are millionaires because of routines. I've got lots of property because I got into a routine of buying property. I've got, over 1 million minutes of YouTube watches because I get into a routine of making videos and going live and talking bollocks like this. And from a self-isolation point of view, I think getting yourself into a routine is going to be increasingly more important. So there's a film called About a Boy, and it's got Hugh Grant, and in that film he talks about half-hour sections, and each half hour's got a point. So Countdown, for example, that's a half hour, and so he tries to fill half hours onto his calendar, and that's exactly what we need to do. And I think then as well for the little one, obviously us as adults, and we understand what's going on, we're getting a little bit kind of cabin feverish, and also it's raining, so we can't even go, onto the fake grass. Do you know what I mean? Can't play a little bit of basketball down there. So we're affected, but she must be affected too. And so I think some of those routines that we're going to implement for her, including physical exercise, we've got a full gym system downstairs. As you can tell, it's not used. So we need to start doing that. And we're going to come out Mr. Muscles or come out, rotund. Cake. Talk about cake. My wife makes such an amazing cake. So the little one helped. We've got a chocolate cake with pink icing and a pink filler, and it is just the most amazing cake ever. Cup of tea and a cake. Oh, and some biscuits to dunk in. Oh, it solves so many problems in life, except the weight loss one. So I kind of get a feeling that I might be getting fatter while I'm here. I've checked my weight this morning. It's gone up a few hundred grams. I think I'm 75.9 right now. So we'll keep you up to date with that because I know how interested you are. And I think that's it for this update. It's interesting. We're on day 4, starting to go slightly mad. But it's like, dude, people went to war. 19-year-olds were stuck in trenches in World War I for weeks. Like, imagine that. Do you know what I mean? Here I am with all this modern tech and technology. Oh, it's all so hard. It's like, we're all set of balls for crying out loud and deal with it. Now, I know from a mental health point of view, you're not allowed to say that. But self-isolation is hard. Self-isolation is hard, but other people have had it much harder. And that's not to denigrate people who are struggling with it because, people are caged animals like I am. And I struggle, and they struggle, and we're all different. We've never really had to overcome anything really bad in our lives, have we? Unless you've been in the Falklands War or you're serving for the country in Iraq, and you've never had to overcome something. And so I think that's what's going to hit people the hardest. Overcoming something in 2020 is the internet's gone down and I can't watch Love Island. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's the hardest thing that people have ever had to do. So this is where it gets harder. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And I'm not sounding like a little whiny bitch. Okay, next question. When do you think this coronavirus will blow over in the UK? So I've got some very specific thoughts on that. Great question. I don't know what your name is, by the way, so stick your name is in. Coronavirus hasn't started in the UK yet. I say that again. Coronavirus hasn't started in the UK yet. You're going to go into lockdown in the next 10 to 14 days is my bet. That's why I've put this out. One of the things we're very good at, so it seems, touch wood, can't find wood up there. One of the things we're very good at is telling the future and knowing this is the situation, this will happen at this point, and then this will happen at this point, and then this will happen at this point. And usually we're very good at calling it. Sometimes we're not very good at implementing it. So like I had Bitcoin lined up to shoot to the moon, and I was going to put I put 10 grand into it when the price was like 1,500 quid, and then it went up to £15,000, and I phoned up the company and I said, great, let's sell that. And we turned back £10,000, which was in a pension fund. It was turning into £100,000, and they said to me, sell what? And I said, sell the Bitcoin that we told you to buy. No, we didn't get an instruction. We never got the instruction. So we're very good at seeing stuff unfortunately, sometimes the implementation let us out. That's my big fish, the one that got away, like turn a pension fund from 10 grand into 100 grand. That happened in like 6 months time, over a period of 6 months. So we're very good at reading stuff. Sometimes we're not great at implementation. That's something we're continually getting better at. From a coronavirus point of view in the UK, I don't think it's hit yet. I think it's coming, and I think you need to self-isolate. Now, I think you need to stop your meetings, and I know that business is going to shit right now. I know it, and we're going to struggle with it too, and I think everyone's in the same situation. We just need to put a pause on everything. Everybody just go, okay, nobody pay anything. I'm worried about rents coming in and paying mortgages. Do you know what I mean? And it's not just mortgages. Like we've got a fridge freezer that's down in a HMO. We've got 2, but this one's full of food. People stocked up, the food's going to go off. So we need to replace that. But if there's no money coming in, we can't do that. Now, luckily, we've got some savings that will help us get through some of this. But if it goes on for 3 months, we're screwed like everybody else. But everybody else is screwed as well. But this is happening. So from a self-isolation point of view, you need to get, toothpaste, deodorant, spare razor blades, stuff that we forgot, otherwise you're going to stink while you're at home for 3 weeks. It has to happen. They just haven't told you yet. I think there's a real lack of leadership coming from the UK right now in telling people what they think is going to happen. And I know we don't want people to panic, but then what happens? It comes in and everybody panics instead of a slow upgrade of letting people know to plan. And it's like the government, Boris should be on TV every morning, like I am right now, going, guys, you need to just calm the fuck down, relax, buy normal foods, just buy one extra on a weekly shop. And we're going to implement this. And there's still going to be people that panic buy, but there are other people that won't, and there should be enough food on the shelves. And they need leadership every single day. In the Falklands War, they had a man who came on, very British. This is what's going on in the Falklands War today. And it was every single day they had that. And I think that's exactly what they need to do. Okay, so great question. Are you scared of getting the coronavirus? Great question. So the answer is no, and it's based on 2 things. The first one is we're isolated. So if we had it before we isolated, we've probably all got it now anyway. So that's the first thing. We are self-isolating. We're not self-isolating, we're quarantined. We're not self-doing anything. We've been told to stay in your home or you're going to get fined thousands of pounds. We don't have a choice in that. So that's the first bit. And I would suggest you self-isolate right now too. It's coming anyway. You might as well do it now. You should be shaking hands with anybody. Public transport, I know this is very unpopular. It's going to send the UK into recession, but everyone's going to have a recession after this. So that's the first bit. The second bit is, if I did get it, I'm 47, relatively healthy. That's not to say that you're out of the ballpark, because people have died at that age relatively healthy. But it kind of is what it is. So let's talk about insurance policies. So if I die, then I've got an insurance policy which is wrapped in a trust, so that if I die and all my properties get sold, any tax that gets paid from that, this insurance policy is wrapped, so my wife gets the benefit from that. Okay, she knows it's there, and I've asked her not to bump me off too early. But I think having insurance is important. But I'm very pragmatic about life and death anyway. If it's my time, it's my time. So I'm not going to go too deep into that actually. But it's like I'm very pragmatic about it, and I'm like, it's fine, it's not a problem. I have stuff lined up so that in the event of it, and if the worst happens, then other people are covered. Having said that, we're quarantined. We're not speaking to anyone. There's nobody around to speak to. We've seen literally in the last 4 days, I've seen 7 people, and they're people walking the dogs. That is it. I've seen at a distance, and the distance is usually 50 feet, 7 people. So we're not going to get it. That's the first thing. There's no deliveries coming to my house. We are completely isolated. There's nobody in the houses next door, and we're grateful for that too. So I don't think we're going to get it, but if we did get it, we're relatively healthy. We've got loads of vitamin C in. We've got paracetamol in because we stocked up, which is what you should do too. So to answer that, I'm not actually scared of getting coronavirus. I don't know if that helps. Any other questions? Happy to stay on for a few more minutes. Happy to answer questions. Am I worried about other people getting coronavirus? Might be another question I could answer. And so that answer is yes. Up to last week, my mum was at the gym. She's 78. She does like a, over 65 gym thing. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Well, our government said it's okay. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Now old people over 75 have been told to stay at home for 3 months. I had a go at my mum because I'm like, you're crazy. I'm listening to Boris Johnson. Boris is an idiot. Why would you listen to Boris? Why does anybody listen to Boris? He's an idiot. So I am worried about other people getting it, and I do know someone who has got it in the UK who's close. It's the best way of saying it. So I do know somebody who has actually got it. They got it in Seville. They went to Dubai. They came home. And they're in bed, and they've been in bed ever since, and they're all self-isolating there now. So I'm worried about other people getting it, and we're going to lose some people. Let's put it like that. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It's like a film. It is like a film, and it's just the most craziest thing. It's just weird. It's like reality has paused itself for a couple of weeks while we go on this adventure. Now, let me cover this, by the way, because I love conspiracy theories. I'm with Elon Musk on this. I don't think any of this is real, and I think we're living in a simulation. And it's like, the game of, is it life? Sims. It's like Sims. I think we're living in a simulation, and whoever's running the simulation, and I don't believe in God, but I believe we might be living in a simulation, has got one crazy, fucked up sense of humour. That's what I think. So, who knows? Who the hell knows? It feels like we're living in a film. It's all very surreal. And maybe this is isolation sickness of some kind. Who the hell knows? Are you glad you retired to Spain? Yes, like you wouldn't believe. And I think the word retirement is too strong because we run a business from here. Well, we're falling over. We run a business from here. I run my property portfolio from here. But technically, I suppose it is retired. I've retired twice, by the way. The first one was before my 30th because I left work and I had more money coming in than I had outgoings. And then I got into a relationship, then had kids, and I had to unretire because kids are more expensive than you think. And I set up a lettings agency. So that's what happened there. And then I retired again about the age of 40, I suppose. But I still work here. I still do things. We still have customers, and we've got a content and digital marketing agency which we run. And we have a team all around the world, which is really cool. And we're also very light. So if we need to reduce hours, we can reduce hours and keep that business going, and it's fine. Yes, I'll come to your next question, by the way. If you let me know who you are as well, it's useful. Yes, I am very glad that we retired to Spain. Wifey still works in the private school, and the little one goes to the private school, and that's like a €8,000 a year school, and we get that free because wifey works there. So there's real benefits of her working there, plus all the social networking that we get and so on. So very, very glad. And if you can do it, it's almost like, why are you putting your dreams on hold? I'm live at, is it Monday? Oh, it's Tuesday today, isn't it? I keep thinking it's Monday. Don't put your dreams on hold, go for it. If it's something that it should tell you, go for it. I mean, it's a shame this didn't happen over summer, because if this happened in July, we'd be in the pool every day. You know what I mean? Getting a suntan. Life would be very different. I know it's pouring it down with rain today and yesterday, but the day before was a nice day. I got a bit of sunburn, in fact. 2 more questions come in. Let's have a look. What do you suggest we do in the meantime to stay productive? Great question. Glad you asked that. Now, what do you do, by the way, if you don't mind me asking? So it depends on what you do. If you're a business owner, you need to find a way, and I'm going to plug something here, by the way, so just building you up, I'm going to try and sell you something. It's 27 quid, that's fine. You should find a way of moving your knowledge that you've got and moving it online so orders can come in. When I woke up this morning, I had an order for 27 quid come in, okay, from my property sourcing training that you can buy online. That's not what we're trying to plug right now. We've got a training course that shows people how to make training courses. So you're moving whatever knowledge you've got and moving that online and then selling it. And you can do it. It doesn't cost you anything to create the courses. You've already got all the things that you need, like a mobile phone and so on. So you should be doing that and creating something. You should be creating a mastermind group, a training group, a coaching group. £100 a month per person, 10 people, there's £1,000. That can cover your mortgage, or if you're not working right now, that's the kind of thing you should be doing. If you're drop shipping on Amazon right now, I think you're in trouble. because Amazon are moving what they're selling in the warehouses to other more important stuff to do with Corona, masks, gloves, all that, medical gloves, all that stuff. I think that's changing. So I think you've got to, there's about 3 or 4 things. So let me give you them as a list. Number 1, you've got to educate yourself on YouTube, podcasts, buy something, like buy the rapid training course, which I've got a link for somewhere. If you go to daniellatto.co.uk/course, let's put it on. It's in here somewhere, banners. Where is it? I think you should, there we go, stick that one on. I think you should get yourself more educated to where you want to go in life after all this is over. So I don't know what you do. So if you're a Deliveroo driver, you don't want to be a Deliveroo driver for the rest of your life, I'm guessing. So where do you want to go? And whatever the direction is that you want to go, you need to get the information that will get you there. And if you're having to be at home right now, then that's what you should be doing. You should be heading in that direction. You've got time. I hope that's useful for you. Let's see, we've got another 2 things come up. How many properties would be classed as comfortable on average is a question that's like, how long's a piece of string? So let's say you've got 3 houses of multiple occupation. Do I use a whiteboard here? Let's say you've got 3 houses of multiple occupation. Each one pays, let's say, £800 a month, 8, 16, 24. You've got £2,500 a month coming in. You never have to work again. 3 houses, making 800 quid. So can you buy a £100,000 house? Can you convert it to 5 or 6 bedrooms? Will that generate £800 a month? Yes. If you can get those type of houses, and you can. I know I've got a couple myself. Although I only go 4 bedrooms on my HMOs just to stay out of HMO licensing and so on. Although that'll change, I suggest, because more regulations will come through. But so then the other way of doing it isn't on houses of multiple occupations. How I first started, which was 20 years ago, I was like, if I've got 10 properties that are paying £150 a month, so 10 properties, 150 quid a month, I only needed £1,000 a month back then. It's 1,500 quid. If someone doesn't pay, I'm still fine. And that was my target, and that's how we got started. It depends on how much money you're spending. Floyd Mayweather made 300 million, and he's going to go bankrupt again. And he made 300 million because he's an idiot. It just goes out and buys gold-plated mobile phones and gold-plated toilet paper and all of that kind of thing. So you've got to cut your costs, increase your revenue, move all that money into assets that pay you a regular income. If you're earning 100 grand a month, if you're earning 10 grand a month or 4 grand a month off shares and dividends, you'll be fine. It makes no difference. So you need to work out, first of all, how much money do you need each month? And then you need to do the maths. If you've not bought the property sourcing training, you should buy that, by the way. It goes into that somewhat. And come and join me in the mastermind group too, if you're not already in it. Let's have a look. I'm working in law, poor bastard. I'll explain that in a minute. But I'm setting up deal sourcing business. I've bought a sourcing course. Yay, well done. We don't like lawyers. Family law. Self-represented in family court. You soon find a way of hating QCs and barristers and lawyers. Bastards. Thank you for buying it. I appreciate that. Setting up a deal sourcing course business. Great. So the first step, and I said this a couple of days ago, the first step is to get through all the content. The second step is to start putting stuff in place. It's like learning something is just one aspect of it. Implementation is where the money is. Do you remember before, I don't know if you were on, talking about Bitcoin, the one that got away 10 grand into 100 and we never got the instruction to buy the Bitcoin. And we had the idea, and the idea was right, and the execution of the idea was so dreadful, it cost me literally £90,000. Fancy that. It cost me 90 grand because my execution was so poor. So it's fine buying it, and it's best 27 quid you're ever going to spend. Loads of videos. The mindset stuff is excellent too. All of it's very good. We know this, by the way. It's not just me saying it. This is the feedback from people. Somebody messaged me last week and said, this was better than the £3,000 training course that they went on. 27 quid. Amazing. So your job is to implement, bearing in mind, you might have to be at home for the next couple of weeks. in which case you're on Rightmove, you're on Gumtree, you're finding investors, because property sourcing, you've got to find the deals, then you've got to find the investors, and you're bringing them together, matching them up. So you need to do that. Okay, it's a property training course, step by step. It massively is. Let me put the link on for it. That's the link, by the way, for it. It's massively step by step. So I think there's 95 videos over 13 modules, and it's me stood here. So it's no different than what doing this, and I'm using the whiteboard, and it's okay. First do this, then do this. Now you need to do this bit, and then there's a mindset bit. There's a bit on what to do if you don't get results. There's bits on how to close people. We've got 8 different types of closes. I think we've got 7 or 8 different locations to find investors. We've got different types of deals you can do. You've got different types of properties you can buy. I mean, it's ram-packed. Go take a look at that because it's very comprehensive. Anything else I can say on that? I don't think so. Good questions today, guys. I appreciate those. I'm going to go in a minute because my throat is... I should have brought a drink with me. I didn't think it would go on this long. But I think that will do us. I hope that's useful. And we'll catch up with you in tomorrow's session. I'll go live again. If you're not in a mastermind group, go join the mastermind group, daniellatto.co.uk/mastermind. It's like an online community. You should just come and join us for that. And we'll catch up with you tomorrow. Let me just have a look. Another question. I'm finding it hard to find investors and someone to co-source with. I got 3 deals, 20% ROI and better, but no one to sell to. Excellent. Okay. Have you bought the course, by the way? The answer to that question is in the course. That's question number 1. Question number 2 to you is, where are they located? Just type your answer in the box down below. So you got, find it hard to get investors. I get that. You've got 3 deals, 20%. So 20% return on investment, still good, or 20% below market value. Not that it makes a difference because high yield, still great. No one to sell to. So the first question to you was, have you bought the course? Because the answer's in there. And the second question to you was, where are they located? Come on, type quicker. Midlands, thank you. That took you ages. Maybe there's a delay. It took you ages to type that. What are you doing? Typing with your little finger? So you're in the Midlands, okay. Because I know someone in Leeds who might be able to help you sell those. And actually, they've got Chinese investors from the Far East in China that can maybe sell those. Why don't you just drop me a PM? Come and find me on Facebook. Drop me a private message in some way, because there's lots of... I just won't see it in the comments otherwise. Drop me a PM and I'll put you 2 guys in touch. And then maybe they can help you. And let me know if you bought the course as well, because if not, you should have done, because the answer is in there too. Right, that'll do it for me, because my voice is getting a little bit raw. We'll go live again tomorrow for day 5, let you know how the craziness is keeping me going. And other than that, we'll speak to you later on. I'm sure I'll be live later. Have a good one. Self-isolate. Take care of yourself and each other. Sound like Jerry Springer there. And we'll catch up with you soon. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.